Who are we talking to next?
You should pick this last person.
I really want to talk to Toby then.
Let's see if Toby called back and can hear us now.
Yeah.
Toby, can you hear us?
I can hear you. Can you hear me this time?
Beautiful.
Toby!
Yes, we can.
Hey, there we go. Turns
love
out
it.
when microphones work.
Beautiful.
So it says in the notes, does love being a function of brain chemicals demean or diminish the concept? What a wonderful question.
Yeah. And to be clear, I don't really think it does. But I have a couple of my, best good friends. If I believed in soulmates, I would say that one of them is my soulmate.
Mm-hmm.
When we were talking kind of about the nature of love, and I said it comes from brain chemicals. It comes from the brain chemistry of it.
Yeah.
And she seemed really, really taken aback. And seemed like she never said it, but it seemed to me like I almost had to justify that my love meant as much as I said it did, because I didn't think it came from a soul or a god or whatever it is. And so I'm just kind of curious your thoughts, if you've ever come across that, and how you have, I guess, justified, for lack of a better word, your love.
Absolutely.
I mean, it is an apologist's line that I have heard plenty. Well, if you have no soul, then are you just brain fizz?
Brain fizz.
Yeah.
I want an energy drink called Brain Fizz.
There are a couple of pieces to that. I kind of want to start by talking about what those arguments look like. And one of them is brain fizz. There are these ideas that you need to have been given something special in order for it to be special. Mm-hmm. Because you, for some reason, cannot deem a thing to be special on your own. And it is a strange assumption that we carry. But the fact that we can see physiological reasons for love doesn't diminish it. It just means that we understand it a little more. The fact that we understand that a lot of what you're feeling is oxytocin. Does that mean there's less? No, it just means my body just dumps oxytocin when I'm around you. And it's interesting.
I think the instinct is it's a function of worldview here, because if you believe that there is something else, but love is just brain chemicals, then love becomes less than other things. But if you understand that everything is brain chemicals, then love is no longer less than anything else if it's that. So the assumption that we have a soul, but my soul, it doesn't love you, it's just my brain chemicals, that would feel kind of icky. And so I understand why a lot of people who might not even, consciously think about the idea of a soul, but, that's been internalized for a lot of us, hearing that makes it sound like there are two things, right? There's the soul, which is who I am deep down, and then there's my brain and the chemicals that are happening in it. And your love is over here in the brain area, not over here in my soul where I live. And that can feel bad if that's the interpretation. And the worldview shift has to happen where it realizes, oh, there is no soul over here, deeper me. It is all in my brain and in my gut microbiome. But that is even less effective when telling someone you love them. My guts really like you. Understanding that it's not an either or situation, this just is everything that we are. My brain is all that I am. And when I look at Eric, or now Georgie, my brain floods with oxytocin and these feel-good chemicals, and that's all I am. All I am in that moment is love for the people that I'm feeling that for. And I think that's incredibly romantic.
It's just when you're sold an idea that other things need to happen, it's a letdown. It's a huge letdown.
Yeah.
If you're told that you're going to go to heaven after you die, and then that doesn't happen, that sucks. If I told you I was going to give you $1 million, at the end of next week, and I don't, that's a disappointment. The fact is, you never had the $1 million to begin with, but the fact that I sold you on something and it turned out not to be true, you missed something even if it was never there. And that's that feeling is that missing. And that's part of why, that's just another piece of why when somebody says, well, it's just my beliefs, it's not hurting you. I think about it and I can't help but go, but what if it's hurting you? Mm-hmm. How much damage does religious thinking do? What are you potentially setting yourself up to be let down on?
Right. How does that strike you, Toby?
Toby? Oh, no.
Am I back now?
Oh, yes.
There you are. Yes.
Yeah, sorry. Okay, turns out the phone goes to sleep, so does this.
Oh, no.
No, that's outstanding. Because the people that I've had these conversations with are mostly atheists, and so that's why it kind of surprised me that they were that they reacted this way. Mm-hmm. But no, you both said some. Eric, you said, and I wrote these down. My brain is just dumping oxytocin. I think that's such a cool way to look at that. And then V, you said that's all that I am. And I think at the end of the day, that's just kind of what I have to convince them of or make them believe, or I don't know how you do that. But like, look, this is all that I am, and all that I am is just dumping oxytocin, and I love the hell out of you. So
yeah.
If all that I am loves you, I just hope that's enough. Yeah. Like, and if they are non-believers, trust me, it has so much to do with their journey and where they are on it and whether or not they've really interacted with it and what their takeaway is for it.
Yeah. And what a beautiful way to start having to think about that assumption of a soul, than having a conversation like this with a dear friend who's inducting them into that by saying, let me explain how I love you. Like, that's beautiful. You are giving them a gift, Toby.
I love that.
That's in fact, that's what I said was to her. I said, look, if all that love that's coming towards me is from your brain, I'm in awe of that, and that's more than enough. So, no, that's beautiful. Thanks, friends.
Of course.
Absolutely.
Thank you for calling in.
Thank you for calling, Toby.
Yeah, absolutely. You all have a good week.
You too. Bye. I'm so glad we got to talk to Toby. That was really cool.
It is. It's sad that we would, I don't know, trivialize love because it doesn't have a component that it never could have had in the first place.
Also, just when you learn a little bit more about biology and not just the chemicals, but also like the structure of your brain, like we are trained to identify things we don't recognize and then assess them to see if they're a threat. And to act differently around them. And that's a heuristic that we all have as a survival mechanism. And so another thing that happens when you become familiar with somebody is that heuristic goes away. And so you've actually gotten over this instinctive survival hurdle that everybody has and are able to better engage with that person. So there are so many scientific reasons why love is cool.
And I actually do want to highlight that.
Yeah.
We're just assholes on the internet. We are not neurochemists. We are not biologists.
I know it's surprising, but actually we're not.
And I fully understand that there's so much more that goes into it, that there's so much more brain chemistry that goes into the collection of things that we put under this umbrella of the word love. And if you want to learn more, it is an incredible field to get into and study. We don't want to limit it just to that because there's so much to learn about. And we encourage you to do so. And for people who are experts in this field, please put down in the comments more that we can do to learn about it.
Or call in and tell us more about why we love things.
Yeah.
Also,
and how we love things.
Vashanti's in the chat and just goes, my brain, haha, dopamine go brr. Yep, essentially.
Oh, I love it. I love it.